break this microphone. It's so fucking tiny, dude. I'm just like, how's everybody doing? All right, that's all I got. We'll go to you.
What an entrance! Have you done one of those before?
That I've never been escorted on stage by the 501st. Let's put it that way. It's yeah. Give it up for our stormtroopers, everybody.
I feel safe. All right. I hope everyone is ready for a little game first, because we're here in Denmark at the Copenhell Con, and the interviews I've done with all the bands before, we've tried their Danish. How good are their Danish?
Oh shit!
And we have really good judges here, I'm guessing. So we're gonna try it on you as well.
Good. And here I thought this was going to be easy. I tell you what, man, and this is for real, for over 20 years, I have really strived to try and speak as much of the native language in all of the countries that I've played, and the one fucking region that has fucked my mouth at every goddamn corner is the Scandinavians. It's like, I start going, it's no shit. It's like fucking Olympics for my tongue. I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna fucking do it. And I was just told that the O with the slash through it is not only not a number, it's an actual fucking letter, and it can also be a word. I'm like, fuck off. Are you serious? Shoot his fucking priest. Yeah, I'm like, all right. Yeah, go ahead. Give the dipshit from America this. I'm like, all right, let's see what the fuck happens.
Well, you might have learned something then. We'll
That is
try it.
not true. I learned nothing.
Let's start with this one. Say it.
Okay, okay, hold on. Is it spook? Fuck off.
So what do you think it means?
What do I think it means?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's probably some derivative of shit. What is it?
Joke.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Oh, well, fuck.
A joke.
Well, okay. I mean, that ties together. I mean, all I tell are shit jokes. So, scheiße spook.
Word number 2. Knallet.
Knallet?
What do you think that means?
This is going well. Knallet. Am I saying it right? Is it? No? Okay, give it to me one more time.
Knallet.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I'm Swedish, so they're better than me.
Okay, so the two L's are like a y. Knallet? No?
Knallet.
Oh, that's Spanish. I'm fucked.
Yeah.
What is it?
Knallet.
Knallet! Okay, so I'm starting to put this together. And in order to speak proper Scandinavian or like Danish, you have to scream it like you're angry at the bar. Knallet! Fucking hell. All right, I'm just going to assume that it means like convenience store or something. I don't know what the fuck.
Scooter.
Scooter?
Yeah.
That means scooter? Fucking hell. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
moped, scooter.
So we're 0 for 2. This is going great.
Third word. It's actually a Swedish word as well.
What is that? What the fuck? This is a fucking, that's a hieroglyph. Are you kidding me? I've seen this on the fucking pyramids.
Maybe the Vikings. No.
Well, yeah, no shit.
No, it's actually a Swedish word. It won't help you though, but I'll tell you what it means in Swedish. In Swedish, it's seagull.
That means seagull.
Yeah.
Is that true? You're
so
so full of
Swedish.
shit.
It's Swedish.
It's Swedish.
Yeah, but
Okay.
what does it mean on Danish?
Oh, okay. First of all, how do you pronounce it?
Moss?
Moss? Moss? Well, now that I've said it, what the fuck does it mean? Okay, I'm gonna say it means beer. Oh, fuck you! You.
It means ass.
Well, that was my second choice.
Let's do a quick one. So, Alphonse. So this is a Swedish name also. Actually.
Alphonse.
Yeah, but it means something else.
Alphonse.
Alphonse.
Okay. So it means something in Danish.
Yeah.
This is fucking. You know, I came here to talk comics.
We'll get to that.
Oh, will we? Okay, Alphonse. Let's see. Maybe it means something like I don't know, concrete or some fucking weird shit.
Pimp.
Oh, I know it doesn't. I'm just telling you what I think it means. It means pink?
Pimp.
Pimp.
Yeah.
So in Sweden, you could technically say Alphonse the Alphonse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's
Yeah, I'm not getting better.
Last one, last chance.
All right.
All right.
Last chance.
Try saying this.
Bullabank.
That was good. Now the real question is, what does it mean?
What does it mean? It means sperm bank.
You're the third artist to say that. Said Wild, Hailstorm, and you said sperm bag on Bullabank.
I mean, that's good company. I'll take it. Wait, what does it mean?
Getting punched in the face, kind of right? Or yeah?
Good beating, yeah.
Yeah, good beating.
Bullabank.
Bullabank.
All right.
What is it about the sperm bank, though?
That went well. I'm glad we started
Give
with
it
that
up for
shit.
Cordelia.
Oh, come on. Don't patronize me.
Now, you're here as you are a self-proclaimed nerd about these stuff, and we're
indeed.
going to dig deeper into all of that now.
Okay.
But do you kind of remember how it all started, so to speak?
Oh, Jesus. Well, I mean, my love for comics started very, very early. When I was young, we moved around a lot. And one of the few things that I remember that followed us to each house was this stack of really kind of janky, shitty comic books, man. And it's honestly one of the ways that I kind of taught myself to read. There was a handful of really rad Spider-Man comics that were there. There was some cool EC comics that not a lot of people even remember anymore. That was just it's kind of stacked that my mom would get from like drugstores and whatnot. You'd get them like 3 to a pack. So I just kind of grew up obsessed with Marvel comics. One of the ones that we had was the one where Marvel invaded Saturday Night Live. So you had like all the Marvel superheroes with like John Belushi and like all this weird shit. And I was just like, are they real people? Is this really happening? And well, I was 5, you know. So yeah, that just kind of cultivated my love for comics, you know. And then as I got older, I grew to love action figures because they were durable toys that I could kind of throw in a bag and take anywhere, you know, because we moved around. Like I said, we moved around, and I had a tendency to lose my stuff because we couldn't keep our stuff. So maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm such a geek now, and I treasured the things that I've been able to collect over the years, is that because to me it was such a temporary feeling of actually having these things in my life, but they were the few things in my life that gave me joy. So between the comics and the action figures and the cartoons, which, you know, to this day, you know, Saturday mornings were so fucking special for me. You know, I got to watch all these things, and it just was a different time, you know. It just grew my love for all things in the zeitgeist like that. That culturally, it was just, you know, between Spider-Man and Star Wars, that kind of made me who I am, you know. And it's just never shook out.
Yeah. And as we heard in the intro, you have like a special room with stuff, right?
I did. Unfortunately, that collection has outgrown that room, and now it's in a storage facility.
No, I thought you were going to say house.
No, I go up, I visit it, and then I just put, all right, I'll see you later. And that's because, dude, I'm serious. There are so many of them that I'm actually trying to pare down my collection to the ones that actually mean the most to me. And it is taking me fucking 2 years. Like, it's so many action figures that I didn't realize I had such an issue, a problem. I went from less a collector to a hoarder, and there are a lot of them. There's so many that I was like, I look at them, I go, why do I have 3 Tick action figures of the same, like, in the package? And like but in like different variant colors. I'm just like, I have a problem. This is not going well. So yeah, so I used to have, it used to be called, like, kept in a place called the Vault.
Oh.
And I would go down, I would kind of visit it, but there's so many of them, I couldn't display them, man. So they just sat in boxes. And to me, if you're gonna have a collection like that, you want to be able to kind of display it and appreciate it. But I've never had a house big enough for me to put that shit out. It engulfs everything that I do. So I have to kind of, get it down to a size where I can actually kind of hang them on the walls and have people check it out.
But when you were going through it, what kind of special items did you see that you maybe forgot or?
Oh, dude, I have an original '79 Kenner alien action figure. Yeah, it was, and it's actually complete. It's in the package. It actually comes with the original poster. Unfortunately, it's still from the '70s, so the arms just do this. This is absolutely it doesn't hold its form, whatever. So it's more of a marionette than anything else, but it still looks terrifying. And you actually have a button on the back and it goes, like that, which is rad.
Yeah.
I have an original Shogun Warriors Godzilla figure that I was obsessed with when I was a kid. I mean, the fucking thing stood like this high.
Wow.
It shoots its wrist for some reason. Like, I don't know why. Like, Godzilla never had a detachable arm in the fucking movies, but he has this weird like fire tongue thing that comes out when you push it. I was obsessed with things with mouth things, I guess, And then I have the entire original 1984 run of the Marvel Secret Wars figures, which I thought were the coolest fucking things when I was a kid, So not only do I have that, but I have all of the variants that were released in Mexico, actually, which was Iceman, Electro was there, like a handful. It was really, really cool. So it took me a while to hunt those down. But yeah, I have those are kind of like my treasure in the collection.
Yeah, awesome. Let's go from there to horror,
Oh,
because you're
yeah.
a huge horror fan as well. And we have some others there. Oh, awesome.
Very cool.
Now, what is it about horror that makes you tick?
I mean, come on. It's fucking rad is what it is. Here's a true story. My mom took me to see, does anybody remember the Buck Rogers movie from the 70s? It was like the disco space movie. It was one of the worst pieces of shit on the planet. My mom knew that I was really into Star Wars, so she was like, well, this movie's got space in it. He'll probably love this. I did. But at the beginning of that movie was the original trailer for Halloween, the original, like 78 Halloween. And as a 5-year-old kid, I just went. It was the coolest fucking thing I'd ever seen. And anybody who's seen the original trailer knows it's very languid. It's shot like it's cut together and like just these moments of tension, and then all of a sudden, holy fuck, there's Michael Myers, and you're just like, what is that?
Yeah.
And then obviously years later, you wonder why I'm in Slipknot, for fuck's sake. It all kind of ties together. But I remember sitting in that theater. We were in Laverne, Minnesota, when we lived there for about 5 minutes, and I just remember looking at it, going, I don't give a shit about this movie I'm about to watch. All I want to see is that movie right there. And a couple years later, I was able to watch it, and it changed my life. So I've been a lifelong horror fan ever since.
No. Yeah, give it up.
Thank you.
Why not? Good answer. But according to you, what makes a good horror movie?
Oh, God. Well, I mean, it depends on the genre, doesn't it? I mean, you have what they call elevated horror these days, which is, they're trying to win Oscars and shit. But then you have the stuff that I love, which is like gonzo horror, which is just like spray as much fucking blood and guts on the walls as possible and make a great joke at the end of it, But you also have sci-fi horror, which, to me, Aliens is like one of the greatest fucking movies of all time. You have, you have rad, like you have the slashers, you have, supernatural stuff. I mean, I kind of celebrate the whole fucking spectrum of them. I think to me, the thing that makes a great horror movie, it's a combination of everything. The story has to be interesting enough that it pulls you in. The characters have to be interesting enough that you want to see at least one of them win. And the killer has to be interesting enough that in a weird way you're rooting for them. You know, like I mean, who the fuck watched the first, you know, Halloween and was like, "Go, Jamie Lee Curtis." You wanted Michael Myers to get most of them, you know, because we're fucking weird people, and you know, so that's kind of the battle. I mean, it's one of the rad examples of good versus evil where you technically don't have you know, you don't have a dog in the race, so you're just kind of like waiting to see what the fuck's gonna happen. And for me, that's, you know, one of my, you know, and there's nothing against cheesy horror movies as well. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I have a Trick or Treat shirt on, and this movie, while not amazing, is one of the most fun movies to watch ever, because you get two great cameos from Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons.
Oh, yeah.
It's Mark Price, who played fucking Skippy on Family Ties, and it's this crazy rock star who burned himself alive coming back from the dead because they played an album backwards. I was like, what the fuck? It shouldn't work on paper, and yet it did, and it's still one of my favorite movies from the 80s, you know? So you just never know what's going to draw you in, what's going to make you go, you know, I will defend this movie till the day I die, but it is the biggest piece of shit you've ever fucking seen. But it's just because we're okay with it, you know? Like, it doesn't always have to be terrifying. It just has to be rad, you know? And that can mean anything. But, you know, when you're a horror fan, there are certain things you accept, and you just go, all right, that was horse shit, but I'll go see it again, you know? So it's weird, you know? Like, there's give and take there.
Yeah. Speaking of rad and scary stuff, let's get into a little bit about the masks of Slipknot. Any Slipknot fans here? I can see one there.
I know, right?
Now, any inspirations with the masks by a villain or superhero? Or
I mean, it's a good question. I mean, obviously, for me, there probably was almost an unconscious, you know, vibe to try and tap into the imagery of Michael Myers, obviously, because it's just such a stark, intimidating look, you know? I mean, it's like it looks human, but it's so devoid of emotion that it's very off-putting. Oh, geez, excuse me. I don't remember eating that. And you know, there's just, it's, to me, that's kind of the image that I've been trying to pursue, especially when it pertains to the person inside making that music, you know? I mean, we've always been asked through the years, why the masks? Why that? Why this? And it's because we wanted to try and tap in to that music as much as possible and become that person in the music. When you don't have the mask on, it's very easy to kind of lean into the human elements of it and just kind of, you know, be who you need to be in that moment. But when you have that mask on, it allows you to become that person who needed that music. When you pull that mask on, it allows you to unleash something that you need to fucking let go of. It allows you to cleanse yourself of the darkness that just permeates you. And that's the thing that has kept us going for years. It's also the thing that's kept me changing the mask, because I know from album to album, I'm not the same person I was from 25 years ago. And if I'm going to be able to represent that music correctly, I need to have a new face. I need to have a new mask. And that's why it's evolved. That's why it's changed. And that's why I'm constantly trying to find myself and let the music inspire me to find that new visage.
Yeah, good. I think it was the previous mask that you worked with, Tom Savini.
Yeah.
Who's famous for also good horror movies, Dawn of the Dead,
quite a bit.
Friday the 13th, so on. like, how did you come in contact with him?
I met Tom Savini through a mutual friend, Jason Baker, who is actually somebody who I met backstage with some wrestlers from WWE, because I'm also a wrestling fan. And so we got to talking. He told me that he worked with Tom, you know, and they were doing a lot of stuff together. And luckily, on the Stone Sour tour, that when we came through Pittsburgh, my wife and I were actually able to go to Tom's house, which is basically a museum. I mean, it is fucking just floors and floors full of the coolest horror shit you've ever fucking seen. And I'm just like the whole time, like, it's one of those things where you don't want to touch everything, but you want to touch everything, you know? And I got to put on the gun cup that he wore in From Dusk Till Dawn. I was fucking, yeah. The sex machine. And I was just standing there going, my life is fucking crazy, dude. Like, what, like, this is really cool, you know? So yeah, he was really cool. We got to, you know, kind of collaborate on some stuff. And honestly, he was the first person to sign on to do the effects for my movie that I'm still working on. It's still in pre-production, but it's called Zombie vs. Ninja, and he was just like, let's, it is exactly as described, too. It's gonna be fucking nuts. So, he was like, yeah, I'd fucking love to do that. So, you know, he, hopefully, you know, sometime soon in the next couple of years, we'll be able to break ground on that.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And tonight you're playing with Slipknot here. Is anyone going?
I look out and it's like the one dude's like,
no. But then you're gonna wear a new mask then. Tell us about that one.
Well, I mean, it's the end so far.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've modified it a little bit to let this hair stick out of the fucking top of it, because it's just getting taller and taller. But it's rad, man. I sat down. I worked on it with a younger mask builder named Connor DeLess.
Yeah.
And he and I kind of went back and forth on, like, visually what I wanted to try and do. And he just hit me, but he just got it right away, man. He just really understood what I was trying to shoot for. And, you know, one thing led to another, and he was coming to my house to mold my face.
Okay.
And I'll tell you a short, horrific story. Note to self, anybody who is getting their face molded, make sure that you shave your chest. It's true.
Ouch.
It gets worse. So they've got me in plasticine, and they're putting the stuff on me, and it's a quick drying mold, basically. Yeah. So and it gets a little past the layer of defense. It gets down into the breeches, right? And don't notice anything. It's fine, you know. So now we're trying to pull the mold off my face, and all of a sudden I just feel like I'm being stabbed in the chest, and I'm like, this is true. I'm like, it's stuck in my hair. It's stuck in my fucking hair. It's stuck. Get the scissors. It's stuck in my hair. They can't really hear me. All they hear is, and they just start going, it's kind of stuck here. Let's just fucking run. And I'm like, no. It ruined my night. It fucking drove me into such a... So by the time they actually heard, it's like, it's stuck in his hair, and they go get the scissors. Now it just feels like it has been shot. So now I'm sitting at the table, and and they're so bummed. They're like, Corey, we're so sorry. And I'm just like, fuck you. You know? So yeah, make sure either it's covered, or if you have a thatch like I do, just put some Vaseline in it or something so it doesn't fucking stick to it, because it is one of the worst pains on the planet. Yeah. You feel like you're giving birth through your chest. It feels like Alien. You feel like fucking John Hurt in Alien. You're like,
yeah, awesome. Now, you went up with 2 stormtroopers here on the stage,
yeah.
And you have spoken about being a huge Star Wars fan as
Yeah.
well. Tell us your first encounter with Star Wars.
Oh my God, I actually got to see the first Star Wars technically in a theater. It was, does anybody remember what drive-in theaters were? So when I was a kid, my mom and my grandmother took us to like this, what this thing is called, it was called like a From Dusk Till Dawn thing. So it would have like 5 or 6 movies, and you would start at night, and then you would sleep there, and then they'd give you pancakes in the morning, which was fucking rad, right? So you just bring all your shit, you bring your best pillow and the blanket that doesn't smell like, you know, too bad, and you'd go and you'd sleep in the back of the car, and you watch it. And the first movie was Smokey and the Bandit, the original. The second movie was Star Wars. So it was like basically the 70s greatest hits, man. And I was just like, and I can remember forgetting all about Smokey and the Bandit and going, just, you know, because I mean, it was Star Wars. Even before, you know, they ruined it with the special edition shit, it was fucking amazing. You'd never seen anything like it, you know? And from that second on, I was hooked. I was a fan. And right up until, you know, some of the less awesome Star Wars movies, I strived to see all of those movies in the theater. You know, like that was the one destination that I made sure that I was in the theater to see it live. So I remember seeing Empire Strikes Back opening night. I saw Return of the Jedi. Dude, I must have seen that movie 12 times in a row because it went from the regular theater then to the dollar theater. And then back in those days, if you were 10 years old, you could just get on the bus by yourself and drive across town and see a movie by yourself. Nobody was like, well, you think I get kidnapped? No, he'll be fine. I was just a free-range kid. And I would just go and I'd take $1, I'd get on the bus, I would seriously drive across Des Moines to go sit and watch that, to see Return of the Jedi, and then drive all the way back home, and my mom didn't give a shit. It was just like, oh, you're back, okay, that's fine, you're not dead. So yeah, so I mean, I grew up so connected to Star Wars that, like a lot of you, man, I didn't really think that they would go any further with anything, you know? I was so stoked when the Ewok Adventure show came on that I was just like, okay, it's kind of Star Wars, but not really, you know? And then obviously the prequels came out, and I was stoked for 10 seconds, and then I saw the movie, and I was like, oh, fuck this. But, you know, it's such an indelible part of my childhood that even when you see stuff that doesn't, you know, cut the mustard, it's still rad, you know, it's still Star Wars, and it still takes you back to a point where you were a kid and you're hanging out with your friends and you go outside to play Star Wars, you know, it's like, okay, you're gonna be Han this time, I'll be Luke, you know, then you kind of divvy it up and you just try to recreate all that shit, because back then, all you had was your imagination and enough free time to fucking capitalize on it. It was just a great time to be a kid.
Yeah. Now, I wish I didn't have to bring this up, but I will anyways, because I think it's important, and I love the fact that you put out a video on it when people were kind of bullying the actors and stuff who was in the Star Wars movies.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I'm sure people here have some like experience with just bullying, and you told yourself that because of that you like Star Wars and stuff like that. You know
I got my ass kicked when I was a kid. Yeah.
But what would you like to say to those people who are going through it or has done it?
I mean, I guess my one message to anyone who's experiencing bullying or you know, has experienced bullying at some point is just, there's certain things you have to remember. One of which is it's temporary. If you can just get through it, you have the rest of your life to try and make amends with it and just make it part of your story. You know, I've talked to a lot of kids who they've dealt with suicidal tendencies, and they've done with that, and it's important for me to reassure them that, because when you're a teenager, everything feels like this is the only time in your life, and what they don't realize is there are years and years and years after that to get through it. And what I had to remind myself when I was younger is that if I could just get through this, I'll be okay. If I can get to the other side and kind of, you know, reestablish my life and figure things out, it's okay, you know? It's okay to be yourself. There's nothing wrong with being yourself. Just because somebody else doesn't agree with it, because somebody else thinks that it's wrong, doesn't mean that it's not, you know, doesn't mean that it's wrong. And don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Even if you get your ass kicked, get in that person's face and go, fuck you. You will not take away who I am as a person, who I am, how I love, who I want to be. Fuck you forever, because this is who I want to be. And that's what I've tried to tell. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with who you are. Who you are is fucking amazing. And anybody who doesn't think that can go fucking eat a bag of shit.
Yeah, now this might be a hard one, or maybe not, but I didn't ask who's your favorite character in Star Wars?
Oh, Han. Of
Han,
course.
Han
man.
Solo. All right.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's, I mean, I loved everybody, but at the same time, Han was just such a dick. You know? But he also had the heart of gold, you know? Everybody loves the rebel with the heart of gold, and, you know, at the end, he ends up sacrificing himself, you know, for the good of everybody, even into, you know, The Force Awakens, you know? He was the first one to try. He knew that that was going to end badly, you know? Even if it's his own son, knowing that there was turmoil, and there was, you know, there was no way that he was going to come out of that unscathed. He still did it because, you know, his heart was always going to be with his family, with his friends, trying to do what was best. And that's why I love that character. Like, at the end of the day, he'll shoot your ass, but he will fight to the death to make sure you're okay, you know? And I just love that in the fucking character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Plus, it's Harrison fucking Ford, man.
So if we got a superhero, a villain, and an anti-hero, and we put your 3 music endeavors into those categories,
Right.
so you got Slipknot, Stone Sour, and your solo,
Right.
where would you put it and why?
Oh, Christ. So you're seriously saying that I should pick one of my bands and make it a villain? Well, that's
I root for villains.
that's a little, you know, two-fisted. Oh, God. Well, I mean, I honestly think all 3 of those projects could rotate through all of those roles, to be honest. Excuse me. You know, obviously there are certain people in the world who would look at Slipknot as a villain, but there are certainly Slipknot fans that would tell them to go fuck themselves. So I don't know. I mean, if you're going from outside perception, it would probably be, you know, I don't fucking know. I don't even know how to answer this question, to be honest.
Let's take the next
Okay,
one then.
yeah,
Fuck it.
we'll come back. We'll circle back to this.
Yeah.
We'll circle back.
But-
That
but-
takes too much fucking time.
But let's get into your solo stuff, because you have a second album coming up now.
Yeah,
Tell us about
CMF2. Yeah. It is more focused than the first album. It's harder. It's darker. It still has, you know, all of the melody and everything, but it kind of has all the elements of everything that people wanted to hear from me. Like there's Slipknot elements, there's Stone Sour elements. There's great acoustic moments. There's a really rad, dark, kind of solemn acoustic song called "Sorry Me," that is, you know, something that people have been asking for a long time. So it's actually the last song I wrote for the album. It's really, really good. So I can't wait for people to hear that. It's just got a little bit of everything that people wanted from the first album. And now that I've kind of been riding in that direction, I've been able to kind of hone it in and really get it to a point where it's just 3 times better than the first album. I'm really stoked for people to fucking hear it. It's gonna be rad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now you have said in the press that like it's a punch in the face, so it's Böllebank.
Yeah.
But also the album cover is very special on this one. Talk about that a little.
Yeah. The album cover is for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's actually kind of a grouping of like all of my looks from 27 years of subjecting you people to my bullshit face. And just kind of, and then it's me in the background, like doing something. So it's kind of an homage to Sgt. Pepper. It's an homage to David Bowie, who's one of my favorite artists. And the purple is my tribute to Prince, who when I was a kid, I wanted to be Prince so bad. You have no idea. And this is true. I ran around the west side of Waterloo, Iowa in a purple bathrobe because I wanted to be Prince so bad. And the kids in the neighborhood beat the fuck out of me and stole it from me. And to this day, I'm just like, well, fuck you too, you assholes. I mean, it was just, yeah, I mean, it was a learning lesson for me. It's like, first of all, people don't want to hang out with kids who are in a bathrobe, just kind of whatever. And I would go out and try to hang out with the kids in the neighborhood. They were like, who's this dick, And they beat the shit out of me. But Prince, he was the first person from the Midwest that I saw that actually could do music, Like, he didn't let his location limit him. He didn't move anywhere. He stayed where he was and let his talent fucking help him rise above his station, man. And he's just so fucking incredible that I've just been a Prince fan since I was very young. So it was so that was my little tribute to him as well.
Yeah. We don't have much time, but we gotta get into DC and Marvel. Where are you at?
Oh, I mean, I'm a Marvel kid. So that's not to say that I don't appreciate DC, but Marvel was just grittier. They seemed more plausible to me. They seemed like, there was always some kind of weird radioactive accident that made a Marvel villain. It was like, oh, he fell into a vat and then fused with a cat. It's like, oh, okay, it's science. Why not? But yeah, I just, Marvel just looked darker, felt cooler. Plus, you could still do stuff like Spider-Man, but then you had the Tomb of Dracula, which was fucking rad, So yeah, Marvel just had everything that I wanted.
Favorite movie in Marvel?
Oh shit, man! I mean, you have to say Endgame because it was just so.
It's a great movie.
I mean, it was the culmination. You have to say that because of the culmination of fucking 10 years leading to that moment. The promise of that moment. And once you experience the excruciating ending of fucking Infinity War, and then you get to Endgame and you realize, fuck, there is no such thing as a happy ending in this motherfucker. It was just a mind fuck, And you can ask my wife to this day when I watch Endgame, I cry like my fucking dog just died. I mean, it's just Niagara Falls. And I mean, I've seen that movie like 27 times, and I still cry like somebody punched me in the nuts. I mean, it's fucking brutal. So that just tells you how fucking good that movie is.
9:30 tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're out of time, but thank you very much. Court Taylor, give it up, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Get up there with the
stormtroopers. Guys, before you run off, we have the Hell controller.
Oh, yeah.
We ask everyone to just sign. So if you'd be so kind to just find a.
Let's see. We will go.
Yeah, go.
Here.
Just, make it big. Excellent.
Yep.
Jan as well. Do you want to?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Got to get a signature for everyone here.
I gotta tell you, this headset is making me want to fucking pull on like a full-on Britney Spears right now, and I don't have the moves for that. So
Well, we better get him. Sorry, thank you so
guys.
much. Thanks so much for doing that. We look forward to tonight. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.